Well, howdy there folks, and welcome into today's video. Hope you guys are doing great as always out there. So, it was just a few days ago I put out a video and a lot of you guys enjoyed it. And that video went into Tattoo Chef and when I thought that stock is going to bottom and the price I thought it was going to bottom at. And so I said, let's do one of these videos today on Corsair Gaming, CRSR. And let me give my opinion on when this stock will bottom, exactly what price specifically am I looking at for this stock to bottom, as in like start going down, and what are the odds of probabilities that I think is going to happen here, right? Because you got to understand, when it comes to stock market, everything's an odds game, right? Everything is possible. It's possible Corsair goes to, I don't know, $0. It's possible Corsair goes to $10,000 a share, right? Both extremely unrealistic, but they are possible. And so here today, I'm going to slap some probabilities on some of these price targets that I've seen thrown out there in regards to Corsair Gaming recently, and what it would take for the stock to hit those specific prices. Today, obviously, the stock is $26.28. It was down about 2%, looking at a $2.46 billion market cap for Corsair. Now, the four prices we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk about $26. That's a number I've seen thrown out there, and it's basically right around $26 right now, okay? A lot of folks saying it's going to bottom at $24. A lot of folks I'm seeing predictions around $18 and then $15. Those are by far and away the four most popular price targets I've seen out there, okay? And so we'll run through a $15 scenario. What would it take for that to happen? What are the chances that happens? We'll take it through $18, and then we'll combine these $24 to $26 range. What's the chances that would happen? What do I believe? And also, what am I looking at for this stock? So hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you get some good value out of it. As always here today, all I ask in return is that you smash that like button. That is literally it. If you want to learn everything that is possibly in my brain, if you want to download it directly to your brain, check out the first pinned comment down there. That will basically be to apply for the private stock group and private Discord chat. Alrighty guys, let's get into this. So first off, if anybody's watching this video who doesn't know Corsair, gaming company, gaming gear, streaming gear, PC components, gaming PCs, software, they're huge in that space. They also own a company named Elgato, which is massive in the streaming space. Those are two main businesses, okay? Then they own Origin, Scuff Gaming, which should likely benefit in a massive way because this is a custom controller company. Some people might not even know that's a thing. Custom controllers, and guess what? New consoles have started coming out and be released very recently around PS, PlayStation, and then also Xbox as well. And so Scuff Gaming should definitely benefit from that. And then they also own Gamer Sensei. So they're massive in the gaming and streaming space. If you're in any of those two spaces or a few spaces, like you know them, okay? Also, to recap here, this company's been trading at a 16 trailing PE, a 15 forward PE, a price to sales ratio of 1.25 on Corsair Gaming. As far as last year, the company did $1.60 of EPS, expected to do $1.79 of earnings per share in 2021, which is obviously a good sign. You want to see earnings per share going up. And then next year, 2022, analysts on average, there's 8 of them, expect the company to do $1.91 of EPS, earnings per share. The most bearish analyst has their EPS going down to $1.57. The most bullish one has them doing $2.16, but the average is $1.91 there. As far as revenue growth for current year, 19.9% expected current year for the company. Next year only expect to do 5.4% revenue growth there. Now also keep in mind the company just reported their quarterly results about a week ago or so, maybe 2 weeks ago now, and essentially they grew revenues 24% year over year. So they're growing much faster recently than obviously what's expected for total year and next year as well. So it just kind of gives you some context that at least the trend is pretty positive for Corsair Gaming in regards to if you're thinking for them to potentially beat this number in this number, okay? Also, dude, keep in mind, NVIDIA just came out with results about an hour ago. I looked at those NVIDIA results, and NVIDIA is huge in gaming, obviously, and their gaming numbers were incredibly strong for NVIDIA. Really good news as well there, okay? So, let's get into these scenarios, okay? So, $15. Let's talk about $15. Well, if this stock was to go to $15, here's what would need to happen, all right? Revenues would need to start going down. Okay, like next quarter, revenue down. And then them projecting revenue down. If the revenue started going down for this company versus, obviously 19+% growth expected this year, 5% plus expected next year. If all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, we're not growing now, our revenues are going negative, yes, that would absolutely hurt the stock in a massive way. It would also need the cost to rise substantially more. So there's been if you're looking at a negative short-term thing that's happening for Corsair Gaming, it's the cost costs of the business. And it's not Corsair's fault at all in this situation. It's just essentially, guys, you know, they even talked about this on the conference call, okay? Just the price to get a container, a shipping container, is like 3 or 4x what it was 2 years ago. That is completely unsustainable. That is, you know, obviously supply chains have been messed up because of Rona over the past 18 months. Stuff like that is completely unsustainable. A lot of hedge funds have been, you know, buying up shares of those container companies and stuff like that, and the shipping companies, because they're making money hand over fist. But that is a short-term headwind for the company. It's going to likely remove itself and then become a tailwind for the company and actually help profitability in a massive way when all of a sudden all the, you know, those prices are cheaper and cheaper for shipping, transportation, everything in general, right? But for right now, it's a headwind, and if all of a sudden those costs, you know, boomed even more, and all of a sudden the company's even less profitable because everything's eaten into their business, that would obviously be a big, more negative for the stock. If you had revenues going down and costs of running the business to go up substantially more, yes, I can definitely see $15 being out there, okay? And then if simultaneously, which would kind of run hand in hand with all this, if gaming and streaming got really, really weak, obviously, you know, if revenues are going down, that would be because all of a sudden, like, people don't care about gaming and streaming anymore, right? And so if that whole situation played out, which I think is extremely unlikely, but if it played out, there's no doubt this stock could go from $26 to $15. I would put that at about a 1 to 2% probability right now. I do not think it's very likely that revenues go negative for this company and they start shrinking revenues. I do not think it is very realistic for the costs to, you know, substantially rise more for this business. I think, you know, the cost around the business are going to start to slow in a major way and maybe even go the other way where the company starts benefiting in that tailwind. And gaming and streaming, I think, will continue to be strong for as long as I can see, like, you know, for at least this decade. Let's put it that way. So I put an extremely low probability of 1 to 2% chance that this stock was to bottom at $15 a share, okay? By the way, real quick here. It's always good news if I'm going to make a video like I'm making here today in regards to talking about a stock bottoming. You got to know you're rather close to bottoming if I'm even going to, you know, entertain the idea of talking about a stock and potentially bottoming or something like that in regards to some of these stocks, okay? Let's talk about $18. $18. What would it take for this stock to go all the way down to $18, which would be another $8 off this share price, okay? Well, revenues don't need to go negative, but the revenues would have to grow much less than expected. So, for example, analysts expect the company to grow revenues 19%. If all of a sudden the company's like, I think we're only going to do 12% revenue growth, yeah, that would be really bad for the stock, right? If all of a sudden, you know, analysts on average have them growing 5.4%, which I think is an extremely conservative number for next year. If all of a sudden the company's like, yeah, I think we're only going to grow like 2% or 3% next year, that would obviously be a very, very negative thing for the company, okay? So the $18 scenario, it doesn't mean they have to go negative. It's just like, oh yeah, we're not going to grow nearly as much as the analyst community and investors think. That would be a very, very bad thing for the stock. Also, you would need to see net income expected to go down in 2022. We're also an analyst and the company itself is like, yeah, I think our net income is actually going to be negative in 2022. If that were to happen, yes, absolutely, I could see the stock falling to $18 a share. That, I mean, everybody as of right now expects net income to grow next year, including myself. And if all of a sudden you're taken by, you know, all of a sudden analysts are like, nah, it's going to be negative, and like all on average are saying negative, and then the company comes out and they're like, yeah, I think net income is going to be down in 2022 because of the cost, and let's say revenues is expected to grow much. Yes, absolutely, that would be a very, very negative thing. We'd likely see a bigger sell-off in the stock price all the way down to $18, right? Now, in terms of this probability where revenue growth is way slower than expected and net income also goes down, I would put that at about a 10% probability. So it's a possibility, as all things are. I do not think it's super likely, which is why I'm putting it at a 10% chance. However, it is a chance, and obviously this is why I never go all in a stock, and I always keep some money around, because just in case some scenario like that were to happen, obviously I would be ready to buy more and more shares, okay? So that's $18, all right? Next up here, let's get into this scenario where the stock goes to $24 to $26 a share. Now, just keep in mind that the stock's $26.28, so it's almost right there as of right now, right? This is by far the most probable scenario for me. The stock will bottom in this range as long as there's no super bad news. As long as there's no super bad news, this is where the stock will bottom, in my opinion, like an 80 to 90% probability. We just can't have any really, really bad news in relation to the stock. Now you say, what if the whole stock market sells off more? Russell stocks and a lot of these small caps have already been hit so hard. I don't think these ones would be the ones to fall nearly as much. And usually in a big stock market sell-off, I might have to make a whole dedicated video to this, but usually in a big stock market sell-off, the small caps get hit the hardest. I don't see that playing out at all if you were to talk about like a scenario where the whole markets fall, okay? I definitely see things being a little different in this scenario because the small caps have already been devastated so bad, okay? And so this is an 80 to 90% probability that I think the stock's going to bottom somewhere around essentially where it is now, just go maybe a little bit lower and then start to make its move up, okay? And so that's Corsair Gaming. Now, as far as me, this is my number one stock. I want to be very, very clear. This is my number one stock I am most interested in for call options. There's no doubt about it. Like if this stock continues around the range it's at now or goes down and those call options are out, it's my number one stock I'm most interested in. So in September, I would say there's an extremely high probability I buy some 2024 call options in regards to Corsair, maybe even in October as well. I might buy a chunk in September, buy another chunk in October, and then maybe even a last chunk in November. It's going to depend upon where the shares are trading at and also what are the premiums option sellers want out there and things like that. If the option sellers want some crazy numbers, I won't pay it, right? But as long as it's somewhat realistic what the option sellers are, this is my number one stock I'm most interested in, especially if the stock stays around where it is. So yeah, that's Corsair Gaming. Hope you guys enjoyed a video like this. Let me know if there's any other future stocks you want me to do. Obviously, I did Tattoo Chef, Corsair Gaming. More than happy to do that for you guys. If you want to download everything I possibly know about stock picking, make money from stocks, running portfolios, things like that, you want to download it all from my brain to your brain, check out the pinned comment down there. And hopefully someday you can get in the 6-figure, 7-figure, or maybe even 8-figure club. I got to get that 8-figure club up and rolling. Much love as always, guys, and have a great day.